All right, second time's a charm. So before I turn the camera on myself, I'm going to show you, this is a fruit and veg haul that I did last night at a particular grocery store who will remain unnamed because they actually do not want everybody and their mom to know about what they do. But if you definitely want to take part in this free produce giveaways that they do nightly at around 7 p.m. Definitely inbox me and I'll give you the information, because this is not information that people should not have, especially if they're experiencing food security issues, or they live a high raw diet, a fruitarian or raw vegan diet, and a lifestyle rather. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, and they're looking for places to offset the cost of all they buy already. So there's everything. I'm going to talk about everything in just a moment. But first, I just wanted to turn the camera on myself and just talk to you guys a little bit about, the first video was 20 minutes, so I'm going to be quick on this one. So basically, this happens in every city, everywhere, where supermarkets waste a lot of food. This is a very wasteful culture we live in. And I hear a lot of comments on YouTube videos and on social media about how expensive it is to live a fruitarian and raw vegan lifestyle. It is not expensive. It may take some creativity, some thinking outside the box, because of the fact that our lifestyle is not mainstream, but it is not expensive. It is anything but that. It is the opposite of that. If you don't know where to shop, if you don't know where to get proper resources, anything is going to be expensive. If you don't know where to get the best laptop, and you just go anywhere, you may get the most expensive one because you just don't know. Being informed is key. So with that being said, I'm going to show you what I got last night from a particular grocery store in Brooklyn. They actually put produce that they don't want to sell, they feel they can't sell, out on a curb. And those of us who know about this, we go and we pick it up. And these are things that are perfectly good to eat. So we're going to go this way. So first of all, first bag, mostly Chinese or Asian crucifers like bok choy, baby bok choy. A lot of times grocery stores will toss these hopefully in a compost, but let's be realistic, most grocery stores don't do compost, so they'll toss these in the trash, and they're perfectly okay. There's some brown spots on this bok choy, but I mean, I don't see that being such a big issue. I'll wash it, I'll soak it in vinegar, water, and sea salt, and it's good to go. This bag is a very heavy bag. Ooh, I don't know, like 5-10 pounds. I don't know, 10 pounds I would say, because I'm not a weakling, but this is mostly the Asian crucifers is mostly chard. There's broccoli in there. Nothing wrong with the broccoli. I know what moldy broccoli looks like. When broccoli's starting to lose its nutrients, it starts to turn yellow. But look at this broccoli. This is not broccoli that, I'm sorry about the focus, that is bad. Nothing wrong with it. They just, maybe it came off the bunch, so they tossed it. And that's as easy as it is for supermarkets to toss produce. These came off the original stock. Oh, they broke. As opposed to recycling it somehow, making it into some kind of cheap salad or cheap recipe and selling it, or putting it in a bag and selling it half price, they will just toss it. Again, this is a very wasteful culture. There's a lot of documentaries about this. Documentaries like Dive, for example, where the guy talks about dumpster diving, and it really, the message of waste in Western culture is addressed. Anyway, so a lot of shard stalks. Nothing wrong with these stalks. They just came off the original bunch. There's more shard stalks. And you can just cut something, put in the salad. You can juice these, smoothie these, whatever you want to do. So this bag is mainly that. Also, a lot of celery. I think for the most part, it's a lot of celery in there at the bottom. There's nothing wrong with the celery. There is nothing wrong with the celery. And last night, I'm talking to the regulars. I'm like, oh my God, are they crazy? Oh my goodness, are they crazy? And they assured me, yes, they are crazy. There's nothing wrong with the celery. It could be as easy as, oh, they got a new shipment of celery, and they don't have room for this celery. There's nothing wrong. It's not wilting. It's strong celery. I see. You heard that snap, right? Crisp, right? So this is mostly celery in there. At the bottom, and then the Asian crucifers on the top. There's a little bit of red cabbage, but I have another bag full of red cabbage that I'll show you later. But again, look at this leaf. A little bit of whatever. Tear that off. It's fine. Whatever. All this is good. And I love salads. with using the Asian crucifers, cut them up, and I use those as my salad greens as opposed to romaine lettuce and lettuces. I like to use these. Moving along, we're already 5 minutes in. So parsley, nothing wrong with this parsley. There's nothing wrong with this parsley. Nothing. And I remember yesterday, the young lady who actually told me about this place and what they do, told me, listen, pick now, use your best judgment now, but I promise you when you get under the light in the daytime, it's going to look better to you. So that's what I did. And because last night I looked at this parsley, and whatever, I'll just grab it. And I'm looking at it today and I'm just like, there's no yellow, there's nothing wrong with this parsley. There's a lot of different kinds of parsley in there. There's more celery in here. This bag is also very heavy. Not as heavy as the first one, but also pretty hefty. How much would this cost if you bought this in the supermarket? How much would that cost? You know what I mean? And this is food that's being tossed in the garbage. So this gives you some perspective and it makes you think a little bit. A little more parsley, more celery. There's some chard here. Chard leaves, very strong. Nothing wrong with chard leaves. There might be a little yellow here and there, but that's not the majority of this stuff. The majority of this stuff is, look at us, green, not yellow. So you get the point. There's some arugula. The arugula was probably the worst off. There's a lot of yellow. But again, the majority of this stuff is just fresh. Nothing wrong with them. Again, there's more celery and stuff down here. And I got some, I guess this is the Napa. Oh, this is fennel. So I have some bulbs of fennel in there too. I guess the fennel came off of the rest of the whole bulb. So again, they tossed it crisp, hard. Nothing wrong with that fennel. What else is in there? Yeah, and I don't want to pick the whole bag apart, but you kind of get the point. There's parsley in there. They had dill out there. I don't know what to do with dill as far as culinary use. So I didn't take any dill, but they had a lot of dill. The dill looked perfectly fine. Again, this is misleading because it's only the arugula that's like this. Everything else, look at that celery. Everything else, green. Fennel. There's spinach in there. There's more arugula that isn't yellow. I just grab whatever at the time. Not whatever, but I use my judgment. But I'm just going to pick off the yellow, wash it, soak it, whatever is good to go. Now, I'm a fruitarian, and tomatoes are an amazing fruit that I actually live off of. I love tomatoes. I use a lot of tomatoes, and I usually limit my tomato usage because that would mean I'd have to buy this much, and I just don't have that kind of budget. So when I saw they had a box of tomatoes, I was having a field day, and a lot of these tomatoes are just bruised and misshapen. They're not moldy. Now you already caught sight of this. I didn't pick things for the most part that look like this, but this was a small little thing, so I'm just going to cut it off. With mold, you got to be careful because it's going to, travel to other parts of the fruit. So normally I don't, mess with the mold, especially with soft fruits. But this is what I got, and these were all, for the most part, these are all, not even for the most part, these are all not moldy, except for that one little spot you saw there. But that, I'm going to cut off a significant part of that tomato and be good to go. But for the most part, they're just misshapen and bruised. Like, this is misshapen. So it's like, okay, we can't sell it at $4 a pound if it's misshapen. So we're going to toss it. Why are you even selling tomatoes at $4 a pound in the first place? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, these tomatoes that I'm going to cut off. But again, most of the tomatoes are not like that. Most of them are just misshapen or bruised. This is a green one. It's not going to ripen properly to be a proper red tomato. So they tossed it. So that's pretty much it. This one, bruising, so they tossed it because they can't sell it at the price that they want to sell it at. So there was this berries here, a few blackberries, and that's why it's good to bring a container to these kind of things because there'll be soft things sometimes there. This actually had like a massive amount of sprouts. I couldn't wait to eat the sprouts. I ate the sprouts last night, but I have more sprouts that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But this had berries and sprouts, so this container definitely did come in handy last night. And so if you do something like this in your city where you ask the grocery store if they will allow you to have dibs on the produce they can't sell, and they say yeah, and whatever, you coordinate that with them. Bring stuff like this, the containers and bags. The plastic bags are all necessary to separate all this stuff. I would not have thrown them directly into my bags that I took yesterday because I would have made them really messy. And even so, like even with the bags, my little bag got a little messy anyway. There's a little smell of produce in there and whatever, so I have to clean these out. So bring your plastic bags. That's a tip. Bring your plastic bags. Bring your plastic gloves for your hands, because all this I would not have been able to like really wade through with my bare hands, because it was cold outside for one, and this was like wet and sticky. You know how they are constantly spraying the produce with water. It gets a little nasty and messy. So bring your plastic gloves to be able to separate and be able to pick what you want. 3 more bags to go. So this one, I'm a fruitarian, so I eat mostly fruits. All of this, I'm probably just gonna give most of this away. The tomatoes I go through like crazy, but I'm probably gonna give some of those away too. The citrus is gonna be the first to go, and the apples, because I eat fruits during the day, or in all day for the most part during the week. I crave salads and savory probably twice a week, always in the evening. But yeah, there was some citrus there, a lot of citrus, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. It's hard. It's not even soft, There's nothing wrong with this. So maybe someone tossed it out by accident, or it just doesn't look good enough for them to sell. It doesn't look right. I think in France, they actually made it illegal to throw away. They make it illegal to do this. For grocery stores to do this, throw away edible food. So, anyway, that was a side note. But anyway, citrus, nothing wrong with those. Apples, guess what? The apples get bruised, boom, they have to be tossed. This I'm just going to cut off. I'm going to wash and eat, no problem. So I also have some rainbow chard in here. It's been a while since I had chard. I eat mostly fruits, so I don't put my money towards this kind of stuff. So this is good for me, but I want to add, more greens, raw greens back into the diet, because again, I've been doing mostly fruits also, and just, basic kale and sprouts, and cilantro sometimes, and cabbage sometimes, but I haven't really been doing the chard and the parsley. I don't do those anymore, because again, I'm doing mostly fruits, just because that's what my taste and my body wants. So, but they got the chard here. There is cilantro in here. What else? There's celery. There's celery spread out through all the bags. So there was just so much celery there yesterday, and there was nothing wrong with the celery. We got some more chard stalks. Sorry about the focus of the camera. There's a grapefruit there. There's grapefruit. What's wrong with it? I don't see nothing wrong with it. Even this part, you think it's soft. It's not even soft. It doesn't look right. That's what's wrong with it. So, but it doesn't look right doesn't mean that it won't land right in somebody else's stomach. So, but anyway. But yeah, this is, this leaf, strong. It's not wilted, nothing wrong. Anyway, next bag. So this is all cabbage. The thing about it, a lot of grocery stores nothing's wrong with this. Let me emphasize that. Nothing's wrong with this. A lot of grocery stores, when the cabbage or whatever cruciferous, it could be bok choy cabbage, whatever lettuce, when one leaf comes off, they toss it. I don't know anyone who bags it and sells it for half price or whatever. They just toss it in the trash. And most grocery stores do not compost. Most do not compost. They just toss it in the trash. So this was their trash, and there's nothing wrong with it, And again, I don't think I mentioned it in this video. This is take 2 of the video. But this particular grocery store, they do something very, very nice. They put it in boxes outside of the store, and people can, take what they need and then leave. A lot of grocery stores, including people like chain giants, like Trader Joe's, will toss these things in the trash, knowing that, and I don't know, there's no law that says you can't do what this particular grocery store did last night, put it on the curb to be picked up in boxes, but in such a way that people can actually access them. So Trader Joe's, I like Trader Joe's a lot. I used to love them, but since I became fruitarian, I don't really rely on their food so much anymore. I buy their kale and crucifers, but maybe I may not have to going forward because of what this grocery store does, and I can get my kale and crucifers or my greens from there. But Trader Joe's, they'll put their stuff in the trash, and people have to put aside whatever pride they have or feel a certain kind of way that's not good, and go to the trash to get food. And I'm not feeling that at all. People who go to this particular grocery store that I went to last night and go to the curb, it's not something that's not dignified. It's something that's like, we're consuming food that should be consumed. There's no, issues. Some people will have ego and pride issues with that anyway, but you know, the whole putting in the trash and having people dig through trash. That's not cool. I don't like that. So, but anyway, so this is a bag full of the cabbage leaves and also sprouts. So this is a lot of sprouts. I love sprouts. They just don't last a long time. And for me, because sprouts are pretty pricey, you know, I take my time with sprouts. I put them here and there and then they spoil. So last night I just dumped the whole thing of sprouts in my salad because, you know, I had this feeling of abundance. Like this was all free. This was all free. So I wasn't sort of limiting what I was eating, and then, you know, I do that and then the things end up spoiling because I'm like sort of like eating meagerly, putting them in food and things like that. And but anyway, this is all sprouts. I smell them. When the sprouts begin to smell like ammonia, then you know that they are decomposing, or putrefying technically, because they are, you know, a lot of these things are sprouted beans. Beans are proteins. Proteins putrefy. But no ammonia, they smell fresh. And like the ones I had yesterday, I smelled it, I washed it, it was nothing wrong with it. So I don't know exactly, you know, sometimes they have their sell-by dates, and the sell-by date doesn't necessarily indicate that it's spoiled or so. It's just that they need to sell certain things by a certain time, and if they don't, they toss it. Edible food. But it's all sprouts. And I love sprouts. Look at all that. All the bottom here is sprouts. All sprouts. And then the top is red cabbage, which I'll cut up and put into a salad and things like that. Last bag, so we had this bag that had some fruit in there, which is again mainly my jam, and I'm gonna, when I finish this video, I'm gonna eat some of that fruit. This is also a bag with a lot of citrus fruit. There's kumquats in here. There's some oranges that feel very soft. I'll investigate them. Sometimes the citrus might feel soft, but then you open it and it's fine. Like they have this particular kind of mandarin they package and call buddies, and they feel very soft on the outside, but it's just that the skin is very soft and very, very peelable, and you open it and it's completely fine. This is a Buddha's hand. No one really knows about Buddha's hand, and so I understand why it would spoil in the store or get moldy. I'm gonna cut off the moldy parts and see if I can use the other parts. Not that I really use Buddha's hand like that, and it's a citrus fruit that is not sweet. But I'll be creative with it. Or I'll give it away. I'll cut it up and wash it and whatever, and I'll give it away. Again, you know, these baby bok choy leaves, nothing wrong with them. They just came off the original stalk. More citrus here. You know, this feels pretty soft, but I'll investigate. This is some parsley here. There's a lot of parsley, a lot of cilantro, and a lot of dill last night. So we got all of that. So, but you get the point. It's mostly citrus on the bottom, and then some greens on the top, but the bok choys and the parsleys and things like that. There's some apples. I mentioned, yeah, you saw the apples. I don't think I have any apples in here. But anyway, so that's the video. It's almost 20 minutes long. But yeah, look, more citrus down there. It's all citrus in there. Yeah, so very edible. So anyway, review all the stuff here. And yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of, I've seen comments on Facebook, not Facebook, well, Facebook, all social media, Facebook, YouTube, where it's like, oh, this is not realistic. Like what I just showed you, oh, it's not realistic. It's not real. I got this for free. I saw a video of a young lady who did a haul in LA, and she, you know, Fruitarian asked the managers, which is what you should do, ask the managers, is there anything that you can't sell, that you don't want to sell, that I can either buy for a very, very low price, you know, or you can give me for free? And a lot of times they just give it to you for free. You know, they don't want to deal with having to go through and price things and things like that. So this is realistic. You know what I mean? Some grocery stores will either put it on the curb, or you can go to their managers and work out deals with their managers. I do that all the time. Whereby you can buy something for a very, 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 very low price. So being fruitarian, being raw vegan, being a high raw vegan, or high raw, whatever you are, high raw fruit and vegetable, however you eat, is not difficult at all. And it's not expensive. Actually, it can be the most inexpensive thing. So that was my haul yesterday. Inbox me if you're in the New York area, if you live in New York City and you want to know where I got this from. I have a Facebook group you can join. I post all this information to the Facebook group. It's called Fruitarian and Raw Vegan Food Deals in the New York Metro. I have 3 of those groups actually. I have one group for Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I have the group for Toronto, Ontario, and I have it for New York City. I live in New York City, so you'll see me more active in the New York City group, but I do go to Toronto a lot. I am in Puerto Vallarta at least once a year in January, every January. But those groups will run themselves with the members who live there. Yeah, fruitarian and raw vegan food deals in the New York Metro if you live in New York City. Fruitarian and raw vegan food deals in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico if you live in Puerto Vallarta. And fruitarian and raw vegan food deals in Toronto, Ontario, Canada if you live in Toronto or nearby. So those are my 3 groups. And that was my haul. And $0 spent. 0. So I'm going to go wash all this stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.